Hi guys, it's Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you for finding me. If you could subscribe and give us a thumbs up and all that fun stuff, that would be much appreciated. We passed 3,000 subscribers about a month or so ago, I believe. I really didn't expect that to happen so quickly. It's been a really cool journey being on this ride of doing this channel. The Facebook group is awesome. Look in the description of the video below to check that out. There's so much cool stuff going on in the Facebook group. The community that has built up around this channel is really humbling to me and been a really amazing kind of part of doing this channel. It's really like the most amazing part of doing this channel, honestly, is meeting everyone. And this video is actually kind of about the community built around this channel. What I want to know is this video is a question. Okay, and I'm going to explain the context of this question and why I'm thinking of it. But in a nutshell, the question is, why do you watch Hong Kong movies? Now, what I mean more specifically is, what are you looking for while you watch the films? So let me explain to you what I mean by that. Before starting this channel, it never really occurred to me all the different ways in which people come to Hong Kong cinema and what attracts them to it, right? So you have like the old school Shaw Brothers, independent Taiwanese martial arts films, like the Bruce Lee kind of like pre-Jackie Chan, like that kind of old school shape style martial arts basher films and stuff like that. People who are just like diehard fans of that stuff, and that's what they love, and everything else is just kind of noise, right? You have people who are fans of certain stars, and that's really what they love. And then beyond that, there's just individual films, right? So like huge Bruce Lee fans, huge Jackie Chan fans, huge Donnie Yen fans, huge Jet Li fans, huge Michelle Yeoh fans. Who am I forgetting? I'm sure the Sammo Hung, like Chow Yun Fat, like people who are attracted to these stars. You have people who love the category 3 stuff, people like Art of Enema who love the horror films and that kind of really unique element that Hong Kong cinema has. Then you have people who are just like diehard gung-ho John Woo heroic bloodshed fans, right? And they like Hard Boiled, The Killer, Bullet in the Head, Better Tomorrow, like these are their favorite movies. And then they love stuff like Tragic Hero, and they love like City on Fire, Prison on Fire, Wild Search, like all those classic Ringo Lam films, and that kind of stuff. And like actually I have My Heart Is That Eternal Rose right here, speaking of heroic bloodshed, right? And that kind of stuff, right? Then you have the people who love like the Girls with Guns movies. And the Girls with Guns movies I think are interesting because I think that there's overlap with like, if you love Girls with Guns, you probably also really like heroic bloodshed, or maybe you also really like martial arts films and you like the fighting that's in the Girls with Guns movies, or maybe you like the category 3 stuff. Like I think those movies exist in this interesting kind of area where they touch upon a bunch of other things, right? But then, obviously there are the Jackie fans, and I came to Hong Kong cinema. I came through Jackie, then Wong Kar-wai, right? And the stunts and like the Jackie Sammo, Yoon Wai, Yoon Bu, Corey Yoon, like that whole school of like filmmaking, stunts, fighting, like the people who just love that stuff to death. And that's, you know what I mean? And then like you have like Andy Lau fans too, and there are a lot of people who are Andy Lau and Jackie fans, and maybe there are people who are like diehard Johnny To fans and love those kind of like procedurals, the nitty-gritty stuff. I also think that you'll get people who are really just fans of international cinema and who are looking for kind of stuff from all over the world. Maybe these people are like big collectors of Criterion and they know Wong Kar-wai through Criterion, and that's what brought them to Hong Kong cinema, and they're looking for other films like that. There's just so many ways that, and some people only watch films for the fights, like they really do. And it's not just Hong Kong cinema. Like they love like The Raid because of the fights. So they'll love like Tony Jaa films because of the fights. And that's like the only reason they're watching. And if the fight choreography is not up to snuff, they don't like the film, right? And everyone watches movies for different reasons, and no one's reason is any better or any worse than anybody else's reason. I just think it's so interesting that, and I should also say, like, there are some people who aren't even about the action films, right? Or like, maybe you watch Hong Kong cinema because you grew up in Hong Kong, right? Or like your parents are from Hong Kong and that's just what you watch, and that was like what was going on in your house. Or your grandparents are from Hong Kong and that's what they were watching, right? And like the nostalgia of it, and like that's what you were watching on VHS as a kid. But I just think it's so interesting to like I said, for me, I saw Jackie movies. I saw First Strike. I saw Operation Condor. I was like, holy shit, this guy's awesome. I started seeing other Jackie movies, but I didn't think of Hong Kong cinema as a thing. Then I saw Fallen Angels, Wong Kar-wai, and I was like, oh shit, I need to watch more Hong Kong films. And then from there, it was like I saw Time and Tide, which I've talked about before. That was really like the first non-Jackie, non-Wong Kar-wai film that I saw, where I was like, "Oh man, hell yeah, this is amazing." Um, and It's a Choi Hark film, and then Once Upon a Time in China and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and you really start to kind of branch out from again. That was kind of my pathway into these films, but I'm really curious to know why people got into Hong Kong cinema and when they watched the films. What are you watching for, or is there any specific thing you're watching for? Or you just like the movies, like you're a fan of filmmaking. I don't know, storytelling. Yeah, it's a really interesting question to me. It's something I've been thinking about a lot recently. So my name is Will. This is Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. I thank you so much for watching. Give it a think. Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.